What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how we made this. Beautiful, delicious, barky, smoky, juicy, tender, amazing Texas-style porchetta with some homemade focaccia and a red chimichurri featuring my buddy Matt James. Coming up. This is a pork belly. Pat it dry. And what I got here is a pork belly, a massive pork belly if I do say so. This is the full pork belly. Usually I just get a half or a chunk or something like that. But I thought we'd get the full thing today. And when I was looking at these at the store, I got this at Costco, by the way. I was trying to find the one that was the most meaty looking because by nature these are really fatty. So kind of like the opposite of shopping for a steak. But this is in fact skinless, which is exactly what we want today. And that's because today we're making something I like to call the barchetta, or the Texas style porchetta, which is an idea I got from my buddy Matt James. If you've been watching the channel for a while, I'm sure you're familiar with Matt James. He's got a food truck up in Canada in Kingston, Ontario?
Kingston,
Ontario. And one of the dishes I see on your Instagram all the time is this kind of Texas-style porchetta.
That's correct.
You do that all the time, or is it just for pop-ups or a special?
I ran it every weekend, started last year, went over well.
It looks fantastic, and essentially it's like an Italian porchetta, but it's skinless, and it's thrown on the smoker, and it's got a really nice brisket-style bark on the outside, and it just looks absolutely fantastic, and I've been dying to make it.
As have I.
So what's the first thing we got to do to make the Boris special, the barchetta, as I like to call it?
Just gonna go ahead and take this off right about there. Right when it gets bulbous there, take that off. And then we'll go for our sausage. And there we're left with a nice uniform pork belly.
Beautiful, nice and clean. Look at this little guy. You worried about that at all?
And we could trim that off.
Good amount of meat, good amount of fat, so hopefully this won't be too rich and keep us on the toilet for too long. Spices for our barchetta include
whole mustard seed, some whole coriander seed, and some whole fennel seed.
Beautiful. That smells good right off the bat.
It does.
This is a molcajete I got from Hacienda, which is nice because it's massive.
Works quite well.
Oh, that smells so good.
We do want to leave a little bit of texture in there. I don't know if you can see that.
It's like a 16 mesh-esque.
Yeah.
Maybe a little coarser.
We're going to go ahead and mix that with our garlic powder, our salt, and our pink salt.
1, 2, and 3. And why are we adding pink salt to this, Matt? Are we making bacon?
We're not making bacon, but it will give us a little bit of that bacony flavor. It will firm up the texture of the meat. And because we are essentially going to dry brine this overnight, I'm not going to put it in any sort of danger zone.
Mm-hmm. And we could go in with like fresh herbs, like a typical porchetta. You're going to put garlic and parsley and pine nuts and all sorts of stuff. But
absolutely. This
is the Texas porchetta, so it's a little bit easier, a little more dry rub focused, and I'm telling you, I'm here for it.
It's going to be great.
And with our seasoning made, back to the meat. And one final step before we get this seasoned up, and that is to pound it out. And ideally we would have used a meat mallet with the little spiky bits on there, but I forgot it at my house. So the flat one had to do, but seemed to got the job done. And you're just trying to, tenderize it a little bit, make it a little more uniform. That should help when you roll it up so you don't have like one bulbous end and one thin end, but.
I think it's time to season it up.
Absolutely.
Just a nice even coating. We don't need to use all of the rub, but we do want to season it quite aggressively.
And we did calculate the salt and the pink salt to the meat, so we can't overdo it. So we're definitely not going to use too much pink salt.
That looks great.
And we are going to forget the sides for now, but we'll get to that in a minute. Because now all we're going to do is roll this up. And as I thought this was a big pork belly before, and now it's even bigger.
It's quite large. I'm going to go this way, but I'm going to go thin ends.
Thin end in the middle?
In the middle, yeah.
If you went the other way, you'd get a lot more layers, but it would be like a football by the time you're done with it.
That's correct. And then just like that, we have our twine.
Now this is a trick I've never seen before, but Matt took some of this twine and soaked it in some olive oil. And I thought that was just to help it get a tight, knot on there, but.
When you are removing the twine after it comes off the smoker, you're left with a little bald strip. So I've had a 98% success rate soaking the twine in olive oil, and then you should have a nice, even, uniform bark.
That's a great tip. I wish I knew that sooner, because there's been many times. I'm thinking about like the ham video I did, where when I was pulling the netting or the string off, all my beautiful glaze just came with it. And I was like, well, there goes the presentation. So learn something new. And also you get the kind of added benefit of all this extra olive oil that's kind of coming out as you squeeze the twine. Acts as a little bit of a binder.
Definitely does.
Which is why I'm glad we used some nice high quality Graza sizzle. Not sponsored this time. Are you more of a fan of the individual twine as opposed to like the true butcher truss?
I think there's a spot for both of them. The individual helps you with portioning so that it will stay all together.
That's very true. I learned that the hard way. We used to do, not a porchetta, but we did it with pork butts on the food truck at Leroy and Lewis.
Yep.
We did 2 different flavor profiles, and I used to tie them up like that because I thought it looked cool and I was fancy. And then like the first day of service, they called me like, "This is too hard to carve, man."
Yeah.
Now that it's all rolled up, it's looking a little more reasonable. You know, when I saw that belly in the fridge being super big, I was like, this is gonna be the biggest porchetta of all time. And it's not small, don't get me wrong, but good little slices out of there. Nice and tight. That looks so good. All right, for the outside, we're going on with some good old-fashioned Chuds BBQ SPG, mostly for that heavy pepper content because this is a Texas-style barchetta after all. So just a nice, healthy application.
Just like any other piece of meat, we're gonna start with the underside, just a nice liberal coating, getting all of the sides.
Why is that, Matt?
Don't forget the ends.
That's the special bite. That's the porchetta burn end.
Yep. And so we're gonna let this sit uncovered in the refrigerator overnight, and then we will likely hit it with just a light dusting with some more SPG before it goes on the pan. But that is looking pretty good.
That looks amazing. Beautiful. So like Matt said, in the fridge this goes uncovered to dry brine and cure overnight. Let those spices kind of hydrate, let that fennel kind of bloom. And we'll check back in on this tomorrow. 1 overnight rest later. Out of the fridge, this thing comes looking absolutely beautiful. Definitely looking a little bit tighter, and all that black pepper and SPG on the outside looks nice and adhered. So Matt, are we ready to throw this thing on the pit?
Yeah, right before we do, we're gonna just hit it with a little bit of frizzle, and then another dusting of 16 mesh black pepper just to ensure that we build up that bark on the cooker.
The amazing Texas-style bark you get on this thing makes a lot of sense now that I'm seeing the double pepper application. And again, this isn't fresh cracked pepper, and it's gonna be on the pit for several hours, so I'm not worried about it being too potent.
No, definitely not.
But extra black pepper is the way to get that impenetrable bark. That's why I do a 2-to-1 on the SPG.
Don't forget the ends. Don't forget the other end.
Beautiful.
I think we're ready to fire up the pit.
And on the pit we go. Gonna stick it in our normal spot right about, you know, perfect size for this 20-inch diameter pit. We're gonna keep it nice and low and smoky. What are you thinking, like 225, 250?
225, 250 for the first hour. We'll see how the bark develops, and then bump it up from there.
Sweet. And at this point, it's pretty much just a straight up barbecue cook. You know what I mean? One big piece of meat, no bones to worry about. Just trying to get that fat rendered, good smoky flavor, good bark. So now we're just gonna enjoy the day. Next up, let's go ahead and make some focaccia for this porchetta. Starting by going into a bowl with some water,
Some olive oil,
our yeast,
our salt.
and some bread flour. And get that all mixed up.
We just want to have it come together. We don't want to work it too hard.
That has come together just a little bit, huh? We're not trying to develop too much gluten at this stage.
No, absolutely. And we're gonna let it rest for approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour.
45 minutes later, this is looking a little bit more relaxed. Starting to rise up a little bit. So now we're gonna start doing some stretch and folds, and that's gonna help build the gluten, kind of like a pizza dough. Oh yeah. Wet hands makes it a little less sticky. How many times are we gonna do this, Matt?
As needed, but I don't think we should do it any more than 3 times. And then that's it. We're just gonna cover it back up with plastic and let it hang out.
Been about an hour, starting to bump this up, getting closer to 250. Got some nice smoke coming out there. And in here, Matt's doing something weird. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm making some Krakowska.
What's Krakowska?
It's like a Polish sausage. I grew up eating it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a beef middle?
It's a beef middle, yes. And
That
then
is-
nice and plump.
That is hard on the eyes. That looks like something I might find in my boot. We are at 2 hours on this dough. We did another stretch and fold off camera. 2 total, so now it's time for our third one. And it's looking nice and jiggly, nice and bubbly. You can see some air pockets forming. So we're gonna do one more stretch and fold and then divide it up.
In half.
I kind of like this stretch and fold as opposed to a bunch of kneading.
Yeah, we do have Tartine Bakery to thank for that. They published the Tartine cookbook, really emphasizing the stretch and fold process.
Oh, beautiful. So this dough ball weighs, what was it, 746 grams?
746, yes.
Still a little sticky. So this is gonna be 376-ish. Let's see how close you get. Wow, 346.
Not bad.
Pretty good.
Not bad. All right, so now we're just going to nicely ball this up Just kind of how you would a regular dough ball. Get it nice and taut, capturing those air bubbles in there. You want to grease up that pan.
Damn, that's got some power on it.
It really does.
Frizzle.
And then right into the pan we go.
What kind of pan is this?
It's a proprietary pizza pan.
Where from?
It's proprietary.
Heard. All wrapped up, and now we're gonna let this bulk ferment for the next couple of hours. What do you think about the fridge right now?
I hate it.
Why?
It's so gross.
Alright, I should mention you don't need a specialty pan to make this focaccia. We're making another batch because we want to have more on hand. And we just put it in a regular tin here, heavily oiled. So this was proof for the exact same amount of time. Next up, let's go ahead and bust out a quick fire roasted red chimichurri. So what we've got here is some red bell peppers as well as some Fresno peppers that we de-seeded. And now we're gonna go chuck them in the firebox of the offset. Good amount of coals in there. And we got ourselves a grill basket. And on we go with all the peppers. Just trying to blacken them a little bit, get some color, soften them up a little bit, and hopefully get some nice smoky flavor on there. Very convenient. Don't have to fire up another grill.
Yeah. Ooh yeah, has some nice color.
Looking good. Lovely color. And now into a bowl these go. We're gonna cover these in plastic wrap and let them kind of steam for the next 10-15 minutes or so. After about 10 minutes, you can see these have steamed up nicely, softening them all the way through. So now we're gonna go ahead and chop these all up. Now you could go ahead and throw this right into a food processor if you liked. That would get you more of like a salsa consistency, but we wanted a little bit more texture, which is why we decided to dice these up. And we left all the skins in there for some added roasty flavor, but you could peel these if you felt so inclined. But now that these are chopped up, back into the bowl we go. Into our diced peppers, we're gonna go in with some cilantro,
Some parsley,
some diced up shallot,
garlic,
a little bit of smoked paprika,
a healthy amount of red chili flake,
some extra virgin olive oil,
and some red wine vinegar.
and we'll get that all mixed up.
Now that's where we want it right there. Not too soupy. I'm gonna go in with some salt and a little pinch of black pepper.
And now we taste and adjust. That is nice.
Well balanced.
Nice and bright. Cilantro is there, but not overpowering.
Good amount of back heat.
Definitely not spicy though.
Could use a pinch of salt.
A little bit. Beautiful. Set this aside because it'll continue to develop flavor over the next little bit. But our red chimichurri is done. And 4 hours into this bread making process, these guys are looking very nice and jiggly and nicely poofed up. I mean, just look at that jiggle factor. So nice.
I'm just gonna put a little bit of olive oil on our fingers and just lightly dimple them. And then we have our preheated 375-degree oven. We're gonna go in for approximately 15 minutes.
Oh, that's satisfying looking. We're gonna let this proof again or just straight in?
We're gonna let it hang out for about 10 minutes and then we're gonna pop it in.
Sweet. And this is that other one that we've been doing behind the scenes just because we want more bread. I want to lie down in that.
Looks cozy.
Made it up top where Matt James lives temporarily from time to time.
It's true.
But that's where our oven is.
We're gonna drizzle them with some of the chopped thyme and rosemary and some olive oil. Just a little drizzle right now, and then halfway through the baking process, we will give them a nice brush of this herb oil and a little bit of flaky salt. Always check the rack orientation before it gets to temperature.
After about 15 minutes, we bumped the temps up to 400 because this oven is not the best.
And we're just gonna give them a nice, even brush of our herb oil. And at this point, you could hit it with a little flaky salt if you are so inclined. We probably will at the end.
And fresh out of the oven. What was the total bake time on that?
35 minutes.
Beautiful. How you feeling? They look great. They smell fantastic.
They smell great. Be nicer to have like a convection oven to get that initial rise. But we know they're going to be crispy, fluffy on the inside, tasty.
So now we're going to let these rest and cool down a little bit because we need to go check in on that pork. We're at hour 5 out here, 5.5 maybe.
Yeah, 5 hours. Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's looking nice and barky.
Feeling nice. Reading 175.
Perfect. Loving the way that's looking. Looks like my abs.
I think we can wrap it up. See, we want to avoid any little splits like this. It might be inevitable, but it's when it's going to tell us to wrap her up. Pretty happy with the bark.
Me too. Smells great, looks great. Foil, paper.
Foil. Go down with a little bit of lard.
Always gotta lard your pork, folks.
She feels real nice.
Beautiful log. Love the color on that. Smells like bacon. Back on the pit we go, still rocking around 275. Really shouldn't take long at this point, right?
No, 275. We got probably another 30 minutes to go.
So we're not taking this too far.
We want a nice sliceable but tender.
So like 180, 185-ish internal.
I would say so.
Sweet, shouldn't be long. But that gives us plenty of time for another episode of Bones Try Something Weird. What's on the menu today, buddy?
Thanks to Masa, we've got prepared pollock roe, which I've heard is very pungent.
It's good stuff.
Joe, have you had it before?
Oh yeah.
Joe Yim, welcome to the Chud Shop.
Thanks, man.
Literally just walked in. Don't know what that says.
Don't pull it like that. No one wants to see it like that.
I kind of want to drop that in a deep fryer.
So they're just like sacks full of roe? Is that the deal?
It's good stuff. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's like caviar.
Oh, God, not the nice.
It's good, right?
Yeah, it's a little spicy.
Really?
Yeah, this must be the spicy version. It is a little bitter. I heard it's the sack.
You're not supposed to eat the sack, Nick.
It's not too salty. I think the spiciness is nice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the
give me,
sack
give me,
off for me.
no, give me a sliver of that sack, dude.
It's almost like lox. Like has that kind of like cured
Yeah.
salmon flavor.
Tastes like my childhood. Just missing a bowl of rice.
Brad, do you want a sackless bite?
Sure.
Oh, it's good.
Little sackless egg bite. That's not bad. Definitely a little salty, but that's tasty. It's kind of got a little umami vibe going too.
Sackless, please. Really good texture.
Spreadable too. Pretty weird
you go.
looking, but pretty good tasting.
Yeah.
So after about 6 hours on the pit, this porchetta is done. We pulled it off probably an hour and a half ago.
Let it rest down.
Yeah, it took a long time to carry over and rest down, but it's now sitting about 150 degrees internal. So we're gonna open it up, let's slice on in and see how it looks. Oh, look at that bark.
Nice and barky.
A lot of juice in there too.
Super tender.
It's still holding together.
Good little jiggle factor.
Yep, that looks just like the ones on your Instagram. I'm excited. What's the first move? You're gonna take the strings off, you're gonna slice it, or you're gonna do a little oops? Oops! Oh no.
I'm gonna go right down the middle.
Ooh, that looks so good. Nice pink hue from the curing salt. Fat looks nice and rendered. Nice tight roll on that. Good job on you.
Thank you very much.
It smells very good in here.
Wait. Is this a bacon porchetta?
No, this is a Texas barchetta in the style of a porchetta. So there's some aromatics of fennel, coriander, black pepper, salt, garlic, smoked, post oak.
Smells and looks bacony. I'm excited.
Should we slice on in?
Yep, let's do it. As advertised, string peeled right off, saving that bark. Love that trick with the oil. Definitely keeping that one around.
Yeah, like I said, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Just depends on your cook. We got a little there, but
That's what Joe gets to eat tonight.
I don't know what tip you're talking about. I'm late to this, so I'm excited to watch this video.
Oh, look at that slab. It's like a porchetta meets a prime rib. Beautiful. And there it is, all plated up, folks. Some beautiful barky Texas-style porchetta, smoked and seasoned overnight. Looking oh so juicy with some homemade red chimichurri and some focaccia, and I'm ready to see how this came out.
me too.
Now, as much as I want to tear into this right now, I think we should probably build a couple sandwiches real quick with this freshly baked bread. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
Ooh, I do love the way that red chimi looks.
It's quite delicious.
A nice shingling of some smoky fatty pork. Yes, please. That's a beast of a sandwich. All right, before we dive into these magnificent sandwiches, let's go ahead and just see how a couple chunks of this porchetta pork belly came out after some time on the offset, shall we? But I mean, it's so pink, it's so juicy.
Whoa.
Dude, that is so flavorful.
The fennel?
Perfect salinity too, not too salty.
I was a little concerned about that.
A little bit, but it's so juicy and it's so tender too. You know, we only took this to 180 or so, internal 185 maybe. It's bite through, it's like a rib, you know what I mean?
And that's what the goal is, for it to be sliceable, not fall apart, still have a good bite.
And I mean, you can't complain about that. That is just so good. I know it looks pink, but remember we did put a little bit of pink curing salt in there, which kind of firmed it up a bit, and it gives it that bit of a hammy, bacony taste, but it's still definitely like pork belly, porchetta, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That is phenomenal. Great job, man. That is just a flavor bomb and a half.
The fat rendered perfectly. Not too smoky either. I was a little concerned about that as well.
For how dark that bark is, like, it's there, it's welcome, but it's not overpowering, which is perfect. That is so good.
Should we try it composed?
We shall. And also for being a pork belly, it's not super rich either. Pretty meaty.
It was a meaty belly. You picked out a good one.
That's half the battle with bellies.
Look at that.
Oh my God, this smells incredible. Oops. Let's go for it. That is just a perfect bite right there.
So
Balanced, acidic, fatty, flavorful. Freshly baked bread too. I mean, nothing wrong with that one, folks. Nice little barky bit on the end. This might be the best pork belly I've ever had in my whole life.
Very happy with that.
It's insane.
Joe Yim.
Boys, would you like some Texas-style porchetta in sandwich form or just straight off the greasy table?
Yes, both.
I want straight up first. Just so we
I
get
highly recommend it.
Dive on in.
It's a flavor bomb of which I've never experienced. And that might join you.
Wow, that just melts. It's so good.
Dissolves instantly.
But you still get like that bark. It's not a crunchy bark at all.
No, it's
But
definitely
it's
soft bark.
the flavor of Texas bark.
It's not as salty as I thought it was going to be too. And the fennel kind of carries it through with all that fat. It doesn't make it feel super heavy.
Love the texture of it. Not too rich.
Yeah.
Oh, another one.
I'm glad we made a lot of this.
It's almost sausagey.
That'd be the cure, probably.
The cure, and
Yeah.
I think the fennel. It's like almost an Italian sausage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it's meat wrapped up with spices. This isn't sausage.
The meat is the
It's
casing.
not ground up.
Yeah. It's just such a nice chunk, too, and it slices like a barbecue cut, which is what I love about it.
I'm really curious about chilling it and then putting it on a deli slicer.
Coming up. And we've also got a Mondo sandwich, which I highly recommend taking the biggest bite of that you can.
Do it.
Am I taking that half? Or am I
Dude,
just-
take a freshie. Brad and I are just
Mondo is
switched.
right.
Smokes, all right. Double stack. All right.
It all comes together.
Oh, it's so good. The bread soaks it all up.
I really like the chimi.
Much needed texture from the bread and from the chimney.
Yeah. Bottom of the focaccia is like nice and crunchy. The top is soft. That chimney, nice and bright. A little bit of spice.
The red chimney is something I saw for the first time like 2 weeks ago. I'd never heard of a red chimney, and I saw that. I'm like, that looks good on meat, and now I'm eating it, like, definitely keeping that recipe around.
I think arugula works perfectly for this too.
Oh,
It's like
absolutely.
you were saying you were sensitive to fennel. I'm sensitive to arugula because I find it to be too bitter sometimes, but because this is so rich, it actually works perfectly for you.
That's a fantastic sandwich. It looks a little daunting because it's like this thick.
But it doesn't eat as heavy
No.
as it looks.
I've made a lot heavier sandwiches on this channel before.
Yeah.
Recently.
Wow, that's right.
Well, that's an automatic keeper, folks. I highly recommend giving this one a try. You know it's a good sign when we've cut filming like twice now, and everyone's just still standing here eating. Like, we're just gonna devour this. This is just dinner at this point.
Are we still making wings?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course we are, Joe.
And with this very last bite of Texas-style porchetta, I think it's time for the official taste test. All right, y'all, and that is it. That's how to make some absolutely fantastic, smoky, Texas-style porchetta. I highly recommend giving this one a try, you know. It really is one of the better bites of barbecue I've had in quite a while, and it's familiar, yet different, and unlike any pork belly I've made on the channel thus far, and definitely something I'll be doing again very soon. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you do give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.